Hey everyone, Colbert here, and today I'm going to showcase an unkillable setup with Santa and Maneater and also Painkeeper. So it's a 3-person setup and another 2 damage dealers. So first up, guys, I want to talk about how difficult it was to find an unkillable setup for this. So Sir Nicholas, guys, if you do have him, if you were lucky enough to get him, his A3 is an unkillable and it works great, but it has the champion himself has an issue with the A2. If you have it fully maxed out, it kind of messes up your rotations. So you kind of have to have Sir Nicholas without him fully maxed out. But eventually, I actually found a setup that works from a YouTuber online. So I'll put his link down in the description. I copied his setup to do this unkillable setup, and it kind of works fantastic for this account takeover. The good thing is that you use Sir Nicholas at a pretty low speed, so he has to be about 200 speed. Painkeeper needs to be at 242 and Maneater needs to be at 241, and then your damage dealers can be 181 and 182, and that's how it works. Basically, those are the pretty much exact speeds. The damage dealers can vary a bit from 182 to 187 for the one. But yeah, if you can get them there with relatively low defense for everyone so that they're quite low, then this setup is going to work. So I'll showcase how this works, and you're going to see how the team does and how much damage it did overall in this unkillable run. This is the setup. I had Sir Nicholas here in the leader slot with 200 speed, Painkeeper with 242, 241 on Maneater, 181 and 182 on the damage dealers. I can't remember which is which. But let's just start the clip and I'll show you how this team did. Yeah, basically there's quite a bit of setup for this to work. So it's a ton of manual setup in the beginning. You need to go basically 2 rounds of the boss's stun and then you press auto. So let's get started and I'll explain the setup. So while we go in the fight, we'll have to do the A1 for each and every one of the champions. So we go in, it's A1 from everyone. So A1 from Maneater and then A1 from Sir Nick. These are very important, guys, to not mess it up. And then we just do our normal damage dealing abilities with the damage dealers. Yeah, A1 again with. Then we go with A2, if I remember correctly, with Painkeeper. Then we do our A3 with Maneater. Then we go A1 again with Sir Nick. We get a damage, just do our normal damage dealing abilities. We go A3 with Painkeeper, just do A1 with Maneater, A1 again with damage dealers, and then we do A3 with Sir Nick. We get the first stun going, so next up it's gonna be again A1 with Painkeeper. That's the only skill we can do. Then we go for another A1 here. A3 with Frozen Banshee, A1 here with OB, A1 with Sir Nick, A1 Painkeeper, AoE here, we receive it, then we go just A1 or A2 with Maneater, A1 with Frozen Banshee. The damage dealers don't really matter, you just do what they do. The important thing is to go with the skills that are right for the other champion. So A2 with Painkeeper, A1 with Sir Nick, A3 with the Unkillable. Now we're almost there. We basically do our A3 with Painkeeper, and that's it. Basically, this is the setup, guys. A2 with Santa, and that's when we press auto, and that's it basically. Yeah, this is the setup, guys. I know this might seem difficult, but I actually have like a cheat sheet, like a list of the moves that you can take. It has to go like this, so you set up the order in which all the skills will rotate for each and every one of the champions. Painkeeper is there to reduce the cooldowns of the skills for everyone as well, and it matters for this setup. This is not my own setup. I didn't think of this, but I did find it one that works for Sir Nick. Sir Nick has that problem when you have his A2 and A3 both maxed. So he kind of uses the A2 instead of A3 more than usual. So this is why you also need like quite low defense on your champions, so that they drop in health, and Sir Nic sees that and yet does his A3 when he needs to for this setup. So this is the setup, guys. We're gonna go and skip through it a bit, like close to the end. I think this setup goes for 44, close to the end. As you can see, nothing broke, nobody died. This works perfectly, and I'll show you in the end the exact gear on everyone, the speeds again, their defense, HP, so you can understand how I used everyone. It does work. It's a 3-key setup, so we're at 23.5. I think this run finishes at close to 25 or 25 exactly. Can't remember exactly the amount, but yeah, it's a great setup if you do have the champions. If you don't, you can still do the Maneater and Painkeeper setup, and it's gonna work great, but you do need to have a bit more speed on Maneater. I have another video for that. But guys, this setup works on all affinities, so it doesn't matter which affinity you're at. It works on all of them, so it works best on Void, as all Unkillables do. So yeah, 25 million, close to 25 with this setup. So yeah, this was a great run and an easy 3-key setup. The only thing hard about this is like the setup in the beginning. You have to get used to it, and you have to get used to all the skills. So let's go and check all the champions gears. So guys, here is Sir Nic. As you can see, nothing really great about him. I mean, high critical rate, not that high critical damage. The HP doesn't really matter for this setup. So overall 58k, 2k defense, 200 speed, as I said, and then his skills are fully maxed out. So even if we had that issue with the skills, they're fully maxed out, and this works for this setup. So masteries overall just went for War Master, and then just support tree, not getting any masteries that give him additional turn meter, of course, or cooldown reduction. So next up is Maneater, guys. Maneater has that 241 speed, as I said, 44k, 2k defense, just random stats, critical damage and critical rate. And of course we went for War Master and the defense tree for that counter attack mastery, get those extra hits and get a little bit more damage. Next up is OB. He's one of the damage dealers at 181. He works great with 1400 defense, 49% crit, 143 critical rate. He's of course maxed out also, and the masteries just went for accuracy and master hexer in there just to get those extra turns on the debuff. Painkeeper, again, as I said, 242 with low enough defense, 1600, 242 speed, some critical rate, critical damage, and skills are of course fully maxed out. Masteries, as I said, War Master, doesn't really matter what you go for, defense or support. I'd rather you not go for the Lore of Steel. It kind of messes up the rotations. And Frozen Banshee, again there with low speed, so that she not low speed, low defense, and 183 speed. It still works with that. Some critical rate, critical damage. As you can see, I even have items that are not even rolled, and it still works. War Master works great, of course, on Frozen Banshee. And this is it, guys. Basically, this is the gear that's needed. These are the masteries. You don't really care about really the masteries, you just go War Master. So guys, thanks a lot for watching this clip for this Unkillable setup. If you're interested enough for more about this setup, go to the link down below for the original YouTuber's description, and I'll have it down in the link below. I also have the image that he posts on how to use that setup and how it works, and the initial order of moves that you have to follow with your champion. So thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.